Hey guys, I'm so excited. Let's get started. First, I'm doing my eyebrows. I like to brush them out evenly, all in one direction. I'm using the Kat Von D new eyebrow pencil in Walnut. I like to create hair strokes because I don't like that boxy brow in the front. Nobody wants that. So creating hair strokes in the beginning and then just drawing out a line where my hair starts to grow. Finishing that hair stroke off in the front, I'm going to continue a line where the hair stops to grow at the top. Connecting that line at the point of the brow. So it's pretty much like a tracing game. You're just tracing your natural arch. I like to go in and brush the brow out after just to diffuse the product so that it can look more natural. And I'm doing that on the other side. You still want to see hair through the brows to make it look more natural. Even though bold brows are in, still brush those brows out to make them look natural. It's never enough blending. Now I'm going in with my favorite concealer, LA Girl. And I'm using the color Toffee. And I like to outline my eyebrow with that concealer just using a small flat brush, and I like to carry that concealer down on my lid to create a base for my shadow. And I'm doing that on the other side as well. Now always remember, creating that base on the lid is like the tape to the shadow. So don't just apply shadow straight on the lid because a few hours is going to go. It's going to disappear, fall into creases, get oily. You don't want that. On the top of the brow, I'm using Chestnut, so it's a darker shade than what I did on the lid, just to make it look more natural. Anything that you use a cream or a liquid with, you want to use a setting powder. I'm using a Cover FX translucent powder, and this is my favorite palette, Like a Boss, Velvet Voss. I'm using Serve in the crease just to cut out my eye. As you can see, I have very small eyes, so when I normally put shadow on and look up, my eyes disappear. So I'm just creating that crease color so that at least when I look up and you can't see my lid, you can see that pop of color there. This is an everyday summer glow. And I made sure I just only used 2 colors just so it could be easier for you guys to repeat. I used a color in the center just to create more of a halo eye. Using that same color in my crease, I'm going in the corners, in the end of the lid, just to create that halo eye so the shadow could only pop in the center. That will help my eyelid look a little bit bigger. With the eyeliner, I'm using Maybelline Eyestudio. I love to use an angled brush because it gives it a nice angled cat look. I normally start in the middle of my eyelid and then in the corner, bringing that liner from the corner of the lid and meeting it to the middle. So I'm just dividing the liner application in half, making it easier to apply the liner. I couldn't get the whole process on camera, so I'm gonna have to do a separate video so that you can see how I end up winging and catting out this eye. Here you see me doing the eyeliner again, starting from the center of the eyelid and bringing it outwards, and then going to the corner of the eyelid and meeting it in the middle. So dividing up that eyeliner is gonna help so much better. I like to smudge out the end of the liner just to soften up the liner, just so it could be more soft. I don't like too much of a harsh liner if it's gonna be an everyday glow. When applying false lashes, the easiest technique I found was to look up, tilt your head, have like a hand mirror, and place the lash on the center of the lid. And then secure the ends. So you will see me do that step again on the second eye. Placing that on the center of the lash line and securing the ends with the tweezers. After it has a few seconds to dry, I like to take the tweezers and pinch my natural lash with the false lash just to make sure they blend evenly. I will make a separate video on lash application. Remember to pinch. Oh my gosh, guys, this is my favorite primer. It's the Peach Perfect Too Faced Cooling Matte Primer. It helps diffuse the pores and give off like a blurred, filtered look. And it controls my oils down my T-zone. My nose, my forehead, and my cheeks get so oily. This is my favorite foundation, the YSL All Hours. It helps with the mattifying effect of my oily T-zone area. And it lasts for 24 hours. I'm using the color Chocolate. And now I'm going in with the same concealer, LA Pro Girl, under my eyes. Remember, less is more. Triangle motions, triangle shapes. I'm going in with the Sephora Foundation Contour Stick in Ebony. This is where the sculpting comes in at. I know I look like an Indian. Now I'm taking my awesome beauty blender. This is my favorite application when I'm doing foundation and concealer. So it's wet, squeeze, and bounce. That's the technique and the steps to using this sponge. Never use it dry, always use it wet. It gives a more airbrush look. The bouncing technique that you see me doing helps you press it into the skin versus using a brush and it land directly on top of the skin. This gives a more softer airbrush look. And remember to bounce, 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 bounce. So don't wipe with this sponge. Always bounce with the sponge. I'm taking the butt of the sponge for my contour. It has my residue of my foundation on it, so it's going to help blend in really naturally. And the point of the sponge is where I use my concealer. So gradually you're going to see me kind of using the butt of it and then turning it over and using the tip of it just to make sure everything blends evenly. I like my colors to flow into one. I don't like any harsh lines or, lines or demarcations. So I love blending. Blending is going to be your best friend. I'm actually using the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow brush to blend out my contour on my nose. It's a really small, fluffy brush. Always remember when you want more of a softer look, you're going to use more softer brushes. When you want more of a harsher look, you're going to use more firm brushes. So of course this is still pretty harsh, so I'm going to follow up with my butt of my beauty blender with the residue of my foundation to press that in to make it look more natural. I need it to be seamless. Now I'm going back in with my Cover FX to set the concealer under the eyes. Remember, whatever you use liquid or cream for, you want to set it so it does not move. And especially with me, I have oily skin, so I need to set it in order to control the oils. Now this doesn't give color or coverage. It's just going to help set the makeup in place and absorb any oils. Now if you're colored skin, you don't normally want to dust off the translucent powder because it's going to, by itself, because it's going to still make you look ghostly. You want to use like a powder that's close to your natural skin tone or your concealer color to dust that powder away, just to give it some color. Because when you take pictures, you don't want that gray cast. I'm telling you, it is not cute. This is my favorite little technique that I love to do. No matter what I do to the face, I like to go in lastly and bounce that beauty blender on my face. And that helps kind of merge everything I did together to give it a softer look. Now I'm going in with the Burnt MAC. Sorry guys, my camera paused. Now I'm going in with the Chocolate eyeshadow to just buffer out a bottom liner underneath my eye. I didn't want to use a pencil because I didn't want it to be too harsh or too dark. I want to still keep it nice and soft. Now this is my favorite part of the makeup overall look, is the highlighting. You see me doing a tapping motion and ending it off with circular motions. I love it to be seamless. I don't want it to look harsh or like just a line of glow on my face. I really want it to look natural. So tapping it is going to deposit the product right where you want it to be. Circular motions is going to diffuse the product where you want it to go. Applying that highlighter on the tip of my nose, the residue of it on my forehead and the top of my lip. I love to press in my highlighter with the beauty blender to give it that airbrushed seamless appearance. tap, tap, bounce, bounce. Now I love that little peak of glow in the corner of the eye. So I'm using the same highlighter in the Gold Deposit by MAC for the corners of my eyes, just to give me more of that glowy summer look. Remember to use a fluffy small brush for that. My favorite mascara is the Super Fanned Out Mascara by Smashbox. It doesn't clump, it doesn't look clumpy, it literally fans out the lashes naturally. So I love to use it for my bottom lashes just to give me more of that baby doll look. And I love to use it to blend out my natural lash into the false lash, just so that it won't look like it's two different lashes on my eye. You know what I'm saying? Yes, get it. That right there. Using the tip of the mascara wand is going to help deposit more of the product. Setting my face is like locking in the makeup. Using that setting spray is like spritz to the hair. It's like spritz to the face. I'm using Cover FX setting spray and High Performance. I'm going in with Chestnut lip pencil. This lip pencil is going to mimic the natural color of my lips. And this gloss is the new H2O by Tarte. Oh my gosh, this gloss is everything. I love that real wet, milky lip. I'm a lip gloss type of girl. I really like lipsticks, but I'm a lip gloss girl. A good lip gloss and I'm good to go. I like to press my lips together to give it more of a nice glow. And this is my look, guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed my first video. It's going to be more to come. I'm so excited. So many more different looks. I wanted to start off really simple just so that it could be something that you guys can repeat and do at home. And I'm so excited. Thank you guys for spending this time with Jazzy Faces & Co. with Jazz. And I will see you again soon.